What's crack, everybody? Listen to the Discus Larry Collective podcast. I'm your host, Warren. I'm here with Daryl, and today we're just doing a quick video, like 5 things we think could save Raw. And by save Raw, we mean just make it even watchable now at this stage, because I don't think you can save it, to be honest. Before we get into it, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps us out. Past the 50 subscribers mark now, so I'm trying to hit 100 now. Hopefully by like the midsummer. So yeah, and then if you listen to wherever you get your podcast, follow there as well. So we have 5 points, just kind of ideas that we kind of have that might make Raw, as I said, watchable. I'll start off with the women's tag team division, just get this out of the way because we're always hammering on about this. I think with the women's tag team division, obviously it's a sham. It's not worth your time watching, and it pains me to say because there's some great wrestlers in there. Like Naomi is fantastic. She had a great singles run there a few years back and stuff, and it was almost like they were building to a main eventer kind of position for her. And if she's thrown into a tag team with Lana, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke thrown together because they look similar probably. Even Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler were thrown together and they're the tag team champions. Do you know what I mean? There's no real tag team in it. I was only saying it to Daryl before we came on. I think like Riot Squad's the only one that stands out to me. Do you know what I mean? Like the Iconics were a great one. They split them up and sacked both of them. So it's just at this stage now, I think there's 2 routes you can go. One, you can melt down them belts and just get rid of the women's tag team division and just have a women's division. You already have the tag team belts in NXT. Let them do that thing there, and then eventually they could be defended across all brands. Or if you want to continue with the women's tag team division, they're going to have to dedicate some time to it in terms of you need to belt top. The belts need to come off Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax because it seems like they're going to be breaking up anyway. Get the belts off them, put them on, say, whatever, Natalya and Tamina, something like that. Or if you want to even go straight away and put them on a face team, put them on Naomi and Lana, then have Tamina and Natalya just absolutely demolish them, and then have them be, say, sneakily rolled up or something in that forced defense. It sounds stupid right now, but realistically, the belts don't have any prestige to begin with. So you need to kind of belt hop until you find someone who can hold them belts, and actually it's an attraction. Do you know what I mean? So, for example, if you put them belts, like, I don't know, like say Becky Lynch comes back and she's in a tag team with someone. Do you know what I mean? Although Becky Lynch is a single star, so is this other person. It'd be one of them people that are like, whoa, that's mad that Becky Lynch has the tag team belts. It didn't really work with Charlotte and Asuka. They tried it, but again, it was just too many defeats in non-title matches that it didn't have the prestige. So I think you need a new team. You need to solidify people as teams as well. Like I was only saying it as well before we came on. All these wrestlers that are in these teams, they all still wrestle as singles wrestlers. So Naomi has a fantastic moveset. So she'll hit a tag, come into the ring, and she'll do all our big singles moves. And then she'll tag in Lana. And the only tag team move they'll do is one of them will hold an arm, and then the other one will kind of just like, drop an elbow on the arm. That's it. That's not really tag team wrestling. Tag team wrestling is effectively cutting off the ring. Tag team wrestling is utilizing the fact that you have someone there to put more of a hurting on this person here. Like, you know what I mean? That's how it works. It's a whole different dynamic to a singles match. Stop doing singles match moves. Do you know what I mean? Or don't think of it as like, all right, here's the move that I do before I win. Here's the move I do at this stage. Don't think about it like that. Think about it as a tag team match. So I think that needs some either attention, some love, or just get rid of it, scrap it now at this stage. That would be my first point anyway. So if you want to chat about that, you can, Daryl, or you can just move on to your next point then, if you want.
No. I think I'll pass on. It's just, look, you have like all this equality stuff and everything with women and men. I'm all for that. You have the likes of Sasha Banks, and you have Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Becky Lynch, and many more who are equal to a lot of the male superstars, a lot of the top talent. They are draws.
Yeah.
But there's no equality in the tag team division. There's no one there that can match the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, Legion and Dillon. Yeah. Nothing. Like, they're not even close to it. And like you said, yeah, like, not doing your basic tag team moves, coming up with a tag team finish. I couldn't tell you if there is. If they have, I couldn't tell you.
No.
So yeah, I think you're banging the money with. Yeah, there you go. And I think that's just a straight off thing. When a tag team that you have there, or multiple tag teams, they haven't even got a tag team finisher. Yeah. Like, I think that you're spelling it out for yourself. Just get rid of it. Yeah. So it's great points. Yeah.
It's just weird as well. Like the likes of, as I said, the Iconics, they were like a genuine tag team. Do you know what I mean? And they broke them up. And then obviously they end up doing their own thing for a bit, and then they sacked them. And then you're looking at the Roid squad. They're in the row. Like, I suppose you could say a legit tag team. They've been a tag team for a while now, and they're not even on the telly. Do you know what I mean? It's just shambolic, really, to be honest, at this stage. But whatever. Hope they're watching this video. But so yeah, you could hit us up then with your points then.
I'm gonna go with just. I think it's evident to us all is cutting it by 2 hours. And the only reason why I'm saying, or cut it to 2 hours, sorry, the only reason why I'm saying to cut it to 2 hours is because it's the 3 hours that they have, they're not utilising it properly. Whereas they have such roster depth that it has to be at least an hour and a half, if not more. It's dedicated to promo. And the promos are shy.
Yeah.
The in-ring segments, this, that, and the other. It's shy. It's like you're after copy and pasting 4 weeks ago, right, let's do the exact same promo or tweak it a little bit. And it's just the same thing over and over and over again. And on top of that, then you're getting nearly a similar match to what was on about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think either if you're not going to cut the promos or anything like that, you need to cut the hours. So if you're not going to give more actual wrestlers time on it, you need to cut it down to 2 hours.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's actually insane though when you think about it. It's a 3 hour show, and then you have the likes of you mentioned there a few minutes ago, AJ Styles and Omos are the new tag team champions. It's a 3 hour show and they're not on it. And as you said, they don't have to have a match. They can come out and be like, well, we told you, we bet you, we were going to beat you, like to the New Day. Now this is going to be the third week now, like this Monday coming. If they're on that show or not, you can't hit that promo now. That point's passed now. There's no point in coming out because New Day's moved on. Do you know what I mean? You can't come out and be like, New Day, yeah, we bet you. It's like, when was that, 3 weeks ago? Nearly a month ago now. Do you know what I mean? They don't care. Do you know what I mean? So you have stuff like that, a 3 hour show, and you can't find a place for your tag team champions. And then last week you couldn't find a place for your United States champion, Sheamus. It's just insane. Like, it really is. And as you said, there's too many backstage segments, too many in-ring promo parts, and the promo's going on for fucking ages now. I don't know what story it is. Even the Drew and was it MVP one there on Raw just gone. It felt like that went on for a full half an hour. No, it didn't. It went on for about 10 minutes, but still 10 minutes is a bit too long. Unless you like, I don't really care about Drew McIntyre right now. I want to see more Bobby Lashley. Do you know what I mean? Actually, did we see Bobby Lashley on Raw? I don't think we did. No,
we didn't. It was MVP.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So there's another one, right? So you don't even have your world champion on the fucking show, on a 3 hour show. Now, obviously, if he has prior commitments, say for example, he had to go visit family or something, I understand. But at the same time, though, have something there. Do you know what I mean? Have MVP allude to that or something. Do you know what I mean? But I don't care about T-Bar and Mace attacking Drew McIntyre. I don't care about Drew McIntyre. I actually prefer Drew McIntyre as a heel, whatever. But he is good as a face, don't get me wrong, like chasing the belt and stuff. But yeah, get on with it. Do you know what I mean? Why are you coming out here going on as if you're the face of the company? You're not the champ. Do you know what I mean? You're out here cutting a 10-minute promo. I don't care. So it's just insane.
Yeah, you're no Stone Cold.
Exactly, yeah. If I wanted to watch a 10-minute promo opening a show, I'd watch fucking Raw from 2001 or whatever, or 2000, stuff like that. But it's just insane, really. And yeah, it doesn't sit right with me, because then it almost feels like that's what the whole show is going to be like. That's the route they're going to go for, right? Like every, say, 15 minutes, you're going to get a backstage segment. Do you know what I mean? And it's not great to watch. Like, we move on then to a different point.
Yeah.
I think I feel the frustration already. I'll go on to, I'll go on to the draft. And obviously the drafts nowadays aren't the way they used to be, where there were two separate shows and you wouldn't see anyone from another show on a different show, kind of thing. It was really good. And I know they kind of do it sometimes nowadays, like you wouldn't really see Rey Mysterio on Raw anymore. But again, it feels like you still can. It feels, because obviously they're all in the same arena. Do you know what I mean? So they're all kind of stuck there because of the pandemic. Which is actually funny, because that could have worked in their favor if they weren't doing a draft. Well, if they were doing a draft, it'll work. If they weren't, the likes of Raw, you could have SmackDown lads on it because you're all in the same fucking arena. Like, but whatever. I think a draft would be good because there's certain like wrestlers. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there's some great wrestlers on Raw that aren't being utilized. Ricochet, Humberto Carrillo got his first match in I don't know how long. Just got Drew Gulak we were chatting about, stuff like that. Like there's some great ones that are just sitting there, unfortunately. And then you look at SmackDown then. And you have, say, in and around your mid card, you have, say, Cesaro, Nakamura hasn't been seen now in a few weeks. Rollins is obviously having a feud with Cesaro, but stuff like that. Like they're kind of higher, upper mid card to main event stars. You could throw some of them over there to Raw, and then have like a bigger kind of mid card scene where you're actually seeing matches instead of seeing them backstage segments. Do you know what I mean? You'd have something to kind of tune in for. Like, people love Seth Rollins. I mean, like, he's not necessarily my favorite, but people do love him. Same with Cesaro. He's hot right now. Nakamura has always been an attraction, whether people want to believe it or not. Yeah, he might not be a draw, but he's still an attraction. People love the chap. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then you're wondering why people are leaving Raw halfway through the show and they're coming back for the main event, because there's nothing fucking happening throughout it. So with the likes of a draft or some sort of shake-up, like, involve NXT in it as well. There's some lads in NXT that can invigorate Raw literally by just being on the telly. Undisputed Era, I think they shot themselves in the foot a bit with that. They could have brought them all up around Survivor Series. Do you know what I mean? And then had that big Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole break on the main pay-per-view. But whatever, and that kind of leads into one of your points as well that we'll get onto now in a sec. But I think a draft needs to happen. Some sort of shake-up needs to happen. They need to rejig the rosters big time, because another thing I was only seeing, there's only 8 women on the SmackDown roster. Stuff like that, do you know what I mean? It's just so imbalanced. And then, like, there's a good few teams now, tag teams coming up on SmackDown that are actually really good. The likes of, like, the Alpha Academy has actually been really good to watch. Why don't you bang them onto Raw? Like, and have them in a feud with, like, say, AJ and Thing, Omos, or even New Day. It's something different, do you know what I mean, that you haven't seen. And I just think that sitting there stagnating is not the way to go, especially with a 3-hour show.
Yeah,
it's just...
Yeah, it's yeah, I agree with you on the draft. The only thing that I'm worrying about, I know we were saying it, is it's not like the WWE from before, like the Ruthless Aggression era and stuff like that, yeah, if you're gonna, the draft, it was like Undertaker going to Raw or SmackDown, or Stone Cold, or the Dudleys getting split up. Like, that was an established tag team. If they got split up and one went the other way, or Hardys or something, oh shit, there's nothing really that's intriguing me. There's nothing like there to shock me that go, oh, Drew McIntyre's after going from Raw to SmackDown.
Yeah, I suppose they don't really care anymore.
Like, there's nothing there. It's nothing intriguing me. It's like that I've seen all, or else it's just the fact that I know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's like, instead of me watching Drew McIntyre on Raw, I'm just going to be watching on SmackDown.
Yeah.
The draft should be of these mid-card guys flipping over, and like you spoke about Cesaro. If he doesn't get his push, he needs to get his push straight onto Raw. Over here, I wasn't getting me chance on SmackDown. I'm taking it here on Raw, and that's it. And then you're getting him as your new kind of big star. That's what needs to happen. If you're going to move someone over to mid card, he needs to be pushed into kind of a more prominent role. Like, like, not moved for just like, oh yeah, we'll get him over, but we're not going to give him screen time. Or we'll give him same time that he's getting here. It's pointless. Like,
yeah, it is.
But yeah, other than that, like, it drafts all well and good saying it, but I think unless you're not doing it with NXT, that's the only way you're going to be interested in it, is if you're taking people from Raw or SmackDown. They're bouncing down to NXT, and then NXT lads are coming up onto the roster. Yeah, that's the only way I can see that working.
Yeah, like, it kind of, if you think about it, like Pete Dunne, say, weekly on NXT, he's doing this like kind of promo thing where he's like, I'm the best technical wrestler in the world. Who's going to prove me wrong? It'd be class to see him even come up, and the commentator's like, why is Pete Dunne here? And he's like, I'm not getting competition down there. I need it here. I need to fight the big dogs here. Do you know what I mean? And him and Cesaro, him and Nakamura, him and Owens, Zayn, and stuff like that. There's so many things you can kind of do there. Like, you know what I mean? And then Kushida as well, just after winning the Cruiserweight Championship, and he's doing open challenges now. He won last night. He might turn around. Like, it'd be cool to see him turn around and be like, there's some lads up on the main rosters that I want to fight. Ricochet. He had some bangers with Ricochet in New Japan, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It'd be like that's what will interest you about, like, drafts or movement. But as you said, it is that kind of dread in the back of your head as well. You're like, oh fuck yeah, they're gonna move this person over here, and they're gonna be lost in the shuffle now. And it's tried and true now at this stage, I suppose, that always happens.
Yeah. So, like, see you saying there, like Pete Dunne, like, going up onto like the main roster or something like that. I know AJ is in he's got the tag team titles, but if he had the US title or Intercontinental reviews on SmackDown or whatever like that, imagine that, Pete Dunne versus fucking AJ Styles for that title.
Yeah, money.
Even if Riddle still had that title.
Yeah.
Riddle versus Pete Dunne. Like, that's fucking what, like, Riddle has been great. Like, he has been. I can't speak highly enough from him. He's been absolutely amazing. Yeah. Again, I was just gonna keep on touching on, like, it's just his look. I don't agree with it. But that's just me personally. Other people probably do. But I just think he's wearing his young lads fucking shorts to the pill. But if he's to change that, I'd probably take him, like, completely 100% like invested in him. Yeah. But yeah, like the likes of them matches that, you hear Pete Dunne's going up onto Raw. He's going to challenge for the US title against Riddle if it was the case. You're going to be 100% invested in that. That's something that you're going to be excited about.
Yeah.
But again, no, they're not going to do it.
No. Yeah, it's a shame. It really is a shame. The last two kind of things then were yours anyway. So if you want to touch on them.
Yeah, the other thing, like I was saying, was, well, there's kind of three bits there, but a large major faction, similar to the NWO, but not in the amount of lads there. Like, I think that's what needs to happen on Raw if you're not going to go with anything else. The likes, say, 10 lads in a group. Or just for example, say having Orton, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus. They're your three main guys. They're your Hall, your Nash, your Hogan. Them guys, they don't need to wrestle every week, but you know they're the big talent. And then have your kind of mid-card lads that aren't getting a lot of TV time at the minute. Have them going out wrestling each week.
Yeah.
And then challenging. And then say the likes of whatever, AJ Styles or Aleister Black came back, and then he's, you know, beating a lot of them mid-carders. And then he goes, right, Randy Orton's your champ or something like that. Now, right, I want you at a certain pay-per-view. He's burning through your stable, and now he wants you at a pay-per-view. Like, that's investment then every week. And then you know there's an actual build to it.
Yeah. And
then you're invested in it week in, week out. But again, they're not going to do it. But that's the worst thing about it.
Yeah, it is.
And especially with the roster depth, like, you've so many people there. You've got a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
Do that. I don't need to see all them major lads wrestling each week. If they're just like, and I think that was the thing with, like, say, the likes of Hogan and Nash and Hall, like, you might not see them all like in WCW that time, like wrestling week in, week out, but they'd be always on the telly. Oh yeah. And you were invested in them. So same with Sting. You wouldn't see him wrestling nearly every week. But the amount of investment that people were in. The other thing that I'm going to touch on is just Triple H taking control and like possibly maybe just as a GM role. Triple H, he's doing amazing work in NXT. I don't know, we were speaking about it there, where Raw back in the day, that was your big brand. Even now it has 3 hours. It's supposed to be a big brand, but yeah, it's falling short. Yeah. To me, that'd be the last one that I'd watch.
Yeah, bottom of the pile.
Like, if you want to watch wrestling, you're either going to watch NXT or SmackDown. Like, and that's only recently that we've been getting great with wrestling and that. But if Triple H takes over, you're getting your last star, your mega star that's back on TV. And if you're wanting to push him into a storyline feud with anybody, you can build that to a Mania from now or something like that. But yeah, I think, like, if he had any ideas like he does storyline wise in NXT, if he wanted to bring something similar to Raw, like, he can do that. And like, he'd have a lot more leeway with Vince than the likes of, say, Paul Heyman or Eric Bischoff or whoever else. And like, they'd put it forward and like, oh no, we're not going with that. All right, well, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, Triple H would get a lot more respect off Vince, I think. And you'd see the better side of Raw if he ended up getting to take over. Yeah. No, he doesn't need to take over SmackDown. SmackDown's doing fine.
Yeah.
Let him take over Raw. Let him be the GM and then let him steamroll that.
Yeah.
And then with a draft or something like that, it could be great.
Yeah, and like, realistically, like, what's the harm in trying it now? Do you know what I mean? There's no harm in trying it. It's struggling week in, week out. And whether or not the ratings reflect it, I'm not too sure. I don't really pay attention to it. But I mean, in terms of fans watching it, like obviously over here, say you have to stay up late to watch it. Starts at 1 o'clock in the morning here, finishes at 4 o'clock in the morning here. The past few times now, I've just been turning it off then. About halfway through, I'm like, I cannot sit through this. I'm seeing the same matches week in, week out. I'm seeing ridiculous fucking backstage promos. I'll touch on Adam Pearce real quick because it wrecks me head, and they were saying it a few minutes ago. You'll have Adam Pearce backstage on his phone, this, that, and the other. Whatever. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll call you back. Someone walks in. Drew McIntyre, I say. All right, I'm after getting jumped out there. I want the match with them boys. Oh, sorry, Drew, you need a tag team partner. I don't need a tag team partner. I'll get a baseball bat. I'll go out and do it the right way. That's what he said. And then Adam Pearce like, oh, I don't know. I'll see what I can do. But then literally Maurice sets up a match between Damian Priest and Bad Bunny about an hour later. Not a bother. So either this man doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know his job title, or else she holds more power than him. The wrestlers do. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just bizarre. Like, she was like, yeah, Bad Bunny in the Miz, that can happen tonight. Yeah, no, but and then the ref is in the ring and all. It's like, all right, cool. Adam Pearce
Damian Priest, Bad Bunny, no, he wasn't there.
Yeah, it's just fucking bizarre. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I hate Adam Pearce, seeing him on me telly. I hate him. And again, it's not the person, it's just the writing of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to be doing this and say this. It's like, fuck off. Like if anything, Adam Pearce should turn around and be like, hang on a second, I'm not the general manager. Should I not be saying, yeah, I can make that match? Or just let me see if I can find a tag team partner? Simple as. You don't need to fucking dick around about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't like that. But yeah, I think Triple H. What's the harm? Do you know what I mean? And realistically, it's someone else. Then yeah, you're looking forward to seeing on the telly. Like, do you know what I mean? And as well, like they did the authority angle there a few years ago. I think it was like 2014 or something with Seth Rollins, and he was grooming him to be the champ and stuff. That was fairly entertaining. I liked it. And then yeah, it did drag on a bit. Don't get me wrong, it did drag on, and I can understand why people were like, "Oh, he's on the telly every night." It's like, yeah, he is, but this time around, don't have an authority angle. Just have him come out and make matches, this, that, and the other, and then eventually, then you could lead into maybe him and AJ if that does go down that route, like in about a year's time or whatever. Because like AJ could be like, you know what, I don't appreciate the matches they put me in, something like that. You know what I mean? Then it can kind of build a feud, like
Yeah, you're not going to get you're not going to get Drew McIntyre going in trying to push Triple H.
Yeah.
But then if you do, you have that. You can have that then, like, all right, here, it's obviously gone too far. And then, yeah, like you said, like of AJ, if he's not getting the right matches or whatever, yeah, you've got your WrestleMania. And then that can be his Triple H's last retirement match, and he just sticks to being a GM.
Yeah.
And don't change it after a year. Have another GM come. That's it. Triple H is the Raw GM. That's it. End of. So, the other thing, I don't think it's, and well, look, it could save Raw, but I think it'll just save the whole lot of WWE overall, is a new brand. I know one of the lads in work, Shane, I was talking with him, the likes to say WCW Nitro. I know they went down the route with ECW, but yeah, maybe bring WCW Nitro back, or WWE Nitro if they don't want to fucking be overlooked or whatever. You don't need to have it on TV. Have it based off on the Peacock network as a streaming service. Have it over 18s to see how it rolls. Have it basically, if you want to the network, you have to put your password to go into it. And then, yeah, it's 18s, because obviously your kids might have it or whatever like that. If Peacock don't want that violence, or they don't want anything like that on their fine. Stick it onto your YouTube. Stream it for an hour. Give it an hour and a half. That's it. What have you got to lose? You don't need to go down the route of like, right, what network can we get it on? Stress of that. Right, the network aren't happy. Keep it on your streaming service. Yeah. That's it. You don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
And then the likes of then the stars that you have on it, your roster depth is crazy. And then you're giving the fans what they want. If your fans are that invested in the likes of, say, I know Bo Dallas and Andrade and all these boys have gone. Right, Andrade, yeah. Right, fine. Don't give me that shit about Bo Dallas. Like, I'm sick of that. Like, oh, Bo Dallas got let go, and this person got let go, and that person got let go. Give it over. Name a match. If anybody's listening, name a match that you say, oh my God, that was a great match.
Yeah.
You won't. Absolute full of shh. Yeah. You're not going to be able to. So from a business standpoint, yeah, that was great for them to do. If they're not going to do it with them, yeah, let them go. I would. If I had a payroll budget and I'm not using them, why the fuck am I going to pay them? Realistically. You're not interested. People are only interested in them because, they got let go. You feel bad. I'm not going to be paying someone $1 million a year to sit at home in their gaff.
Yeah.
If I was told, right, we have nothing for you, yeah, you're still going to pay them. I'd be at home writing storylines, coming up with different characters, doing absolutely everything and anything
to get back on
push
the telly.
myself.
Yeah.
To get on the telly, to get back, whatever it is. If that wasn't the case, I tried so hard for a year. If nothing came of it, then I go, yeah, look, you obviously haven't got anything from me. I've asked to come to you with all these storylines, this, that, and the other. Is it possible to have me release? I don't want to pay or can I have a release? That's it. Boom. But yeah, these lads, they weren't doing enough. They got let go. The likes of the Iconics, yeah, shocking. Yeah. Samoa Joe, shocking. Some of them I do not feel sorry for at all. But the likes of some lads there that are on that roster that should be allowed to experience maybe their own brand are starting up and to get that big, massive push. I'm just going to throw the names out there, say for the top stars that could be on that roster. I know a lot of people might not have heard of him or whatever, but he's in Raw Underground. He's got a great look to him. Is Arturo Ruas. He looks like a machine.
Right.
Then the likes of Alistair Black not being used. Whopper. Have him as one of your big stars. Elias, he looked fucking great in the ring the other day.
Yeah.
The other night on Monday night. I thought he looked great. And he's got a great look to him. John Morrison, again, Triple A champion. He came back to WWE. And I genuinely thought he was going to be one of the top dogs. No, back to the Miz. Yeah. Sure, he's not being used. Get him, like, Keith Lee, again. Don't know what's happening with him. Get him onto that. Nakamura, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's great to have there as experience, giving them lads the rub or whatever. or Truth, Ron Killings, TNA, or anywhere. Like, he is great when he has a serious side to him. I think he'd be deadly. And then you have Jinder Mahal as well.
Yeah.
And then if you're to go then to say a mid card cruiserweight, Rey Mysterio, let him bump down. Let him give a bit of time into that brand. Buddy Murphy, Grand Metalik, Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet, Lince Dorado, Drew Gulak, Mustafa Ali, Angel Garza. They're just some of the names.
Yeah.
You could have a massive brand. And then if you wanted to push the brand, have your Raw, have your SmackDown, have the likes of, say, Eric Bischoff as the GM of it, but not necessarily running it. Let the talent actually have the same way AEW do it. Let them have creative control of it. Obviously have your writers and this, that, and the other there, but give them that freedom to see how that rolls on your streaming service.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if it rocks, deadly. And then have, say, the likes of Bischoff come out, like it's WCW Nitro or whatever like that. If you want to see this back and see real wrestling over 18, it's not this PG shit. Look it out. And then have like the likes of them lads come out and jump fucking load of Raw lads or load of SmackDown lads. And then you're getting to your Survivor Series, NXT, say Nitro, SmackDown, Raw, 4 sides of the ring. You got different talent. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's entertainment at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Raw and most of WWE is lacking. Entertainment, consistent entertainment anyway. So I mean, like, it's all well and good having like a great WrestleMania and stuff like that, but then for the rest of the year, what are you gonna do realistically? And with the likes of that, say, adding on that extra show, like say WWE Nitro, whatever they want to call it, and then having it as a YouTube show or something, like AEW have 2 YouTube shows. Do you know what I mean? They do grand.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like sometimes you have the likes of a Kenny Omega will drop down there. Do you know what I mean? And he'd have a match on it. And like, I don't agree with certain things the way AEW do the YouTube show, like the way that's recorded and it's not edited really. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you see some mad botches in it and they just leave it in. Well and good. You can edit if you want. You have that luxury, I suppose. But I think WWE could definitely, what would you say, they have something to gain from that, like having that extra shoulder and then showcasing all them. It's basically a showcase of the other lads that aren't being used.
Yeah. The likes of all this, like when talents are getting let go, and then you have people whinging and moaning about it. Yeah. If you were that invested, like you were invested in Alistair Black.
Yeah.
I know for a fact you go, right, I'm going to tune into this. Alistair Black's on this. I'm going to look at it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's where we see it, right? If you don't have them people investing into that show, and then them lads get let go, well, here, like, what else? Like, they were let go for a reason. They couldn't make it on the main roster. This show was made for them. Didn't happen. You're not cut for this. You're not cut for the WWE.
Yeah, simple.
Maybe somewhere else. Yeah. And then they have their own kind of creative control. They have a lot to say. So if nothing's working, who's to blame?
Yeah, true. It's a good way to look at it.
You can't go and blame Vince. So like, it's their own fault. And then like that's the way Vince saying, here, look, right, we're going to have to trim the fat. And then you're not going to be letting anybody down. Like, look, he was given a show, he was given creative control, like a good saying it. Didn't work. See you later. And then cut it off your streaming device or off YouTube or off Peacock or whatever like that. And you're not going to lose that. You're not going to lose a contract with any TV place or anything like that. So what's the harm?
Yeah, it's worth a try at least. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing real bad can come from it. Like realistically, like when you stand back and look at it, you're like, well, lads are getting TV time, storylines are being created, you're getting more eyes on a particular product. Again, that could translate then obviously to Raw, SmackDown. If you have, say, Eric Bischoff or a general manager jumping over and the lads attacking, there's literally no bad can come of it. Obviously, if it does fail, yeah, again, it didn't cost you anything really. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't, oh, you weren't signed up to a 5-year TV deal on USA. You weren't signed up to Fox, stuff like that. So it's like we bang these videos up on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? If one got taken down, well, all right, Grant. Nothing you can do about it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, so it's not like it's coming out of pocket. Like, but yeah, that's pretty much all the points that we hit, is it? Yeah,
sure,
yeah. Like I'd love to see at least even one of them put into practice. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not like that watching this or anything, but you know what I mean? It'd be good to see something like that happen almost, and you're like, oh, see, I called it. So I knew that was going to happen, or like, oh yeah, that's something now. It's almost like you'd be straight away, like if you were to tell me, say for example, I'm editing this now, say, and you're like, oh geez, you hear that? That's scrapping the women's titles. I'll be like, love it, love that for them, because then already I'm invested now in that women's division again. Do you know what I mean? That tag team division, because I'm like, savage, what are they going to do? They're going to obviously break up all the tag teams, or else they're going to have the NXT tag titles come over. Something like that. It's intriguing. And I know Glenn always hammers on about that word intrigue. He's like, why would I sit there and watch a show for 3 hours if I'm not intrigued by even one match or won this, that, and the other. If I, like, at the end of the day, realistically, most of us watch highlights of it, because obviously it's so long and it's on so like, so realistically, you have to be able to sit there and, right, I don't want to watch the highlights. I actually want to sit there and watch that full match, or I want to watch this, that, and the other. It's getting to the stage you are saying that you can't even sit through highlights now. Do you know what I mean? It's that much of a struggle. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think as well, like if they were to go with, say, a brand like that and having it like named as like WCW or Nitro or even WWE, if they didn't want to use WCW name,
yeah,
you're better off going with like the likes of a brand like that, because if you go with your own creation, the likes of whatever, the way AEW did Dark or whatever like that, it's hard. It's really, really hard to try and get that over. It's going to take a lot for it to get over. And the likes of going with, say, if they were to bring back like WWE Heat or WWE Velocity or this, that, and the other, like you're still getting that old school, like, I'm not watching that shit. Like that used to be shit back in the day. But whereas WCW Nitro, yeah, all right, it had a couple of rough years or whatever, but it's still known as that was the competition.
Yeah.
And if you were to bring the likes of that back, you know, right, this is competition. It's something more to take serious. It feels like a more household name then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that idea is savage. I'd love to see them do it. Even try it, as you said, for an hour long show once a week. I'd be all over it, and I wouldn't even care who's on the roster as long as it's lads that aren't on the main rosters. Do you know what I mean? Constantly, like as long as it's not. If I'm guaranteed that I'm not seeing, say, Drew McIntyre against Braun Strowman or Randy Orton against fucking whatever, I'll be all over it. If I'm guaranteed to see the likes of Aleister Black or some of the lads that you named that aren't really getting used or something like that, I'll be like, yeah, get a shot of that. I'll spend an hour and I'll watch it. It doesn't bother me, because again, it's the potential that's there. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's all we can kind of hope for. But yeah. So that was our kind of points, 5 points or whatever, 6 or whatever, things that we think could help Raw kind of save it in a way to make it more watchable, I suppose you could say, or the WWE as a whole as well, obviously, as you said, with that YouTube show. So that was kind of our points, just kind of hitting on some things that we'd like to see a bit of a change in. I'll probably do another one of these maybe with SmackDown. I think it'd be cool to do one with SmackDown then. Obviously, we'll give it maybe a week or two, see how SmackDown fares now after WrestleMania. And then, because obviously Raw is the top dog and it's fucking dirt to watch. So this is the one that needs the most help. Get these boys into an AA meeting pronto. But they need some help. But yeah, so we'll do another one on SmackDown or something like that, or whatever. And then really enjoy doing this though, because that's the thing, it's them kind of ideas that you can bounce around. And I really wish the lads there would do this. Do you know what I mean? Sit down with a few of the boys, the writers and directors and stuff, and you'd be like, do you know what would be cool? What if we did this? Like, so what if someone's gonna fucking say, like, oh no, that's gonna be shy? It's like, all right, it's all I think it's the fear of failure with WWE, to be honest with you. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Really is a shame. I go out wearing sometimes I go out wearing a short with leopards all over. Do you know what I mean? That makes no less to me. If I catch a few digs
great looking.
Yeah, if I catch a few digs on the way home and we change, until then we'll keep it like that. But yeah, so that's our 5 points on what we think should change Raw. If you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you listen to this wherever you get your podcast, follow there as well. And then catch us on the socials. The Discuss Larry on Twitter, Discuss Larry Collective on Instagram. And until next time, see you soon.